Hi, welcome back to GP Reactions. I hope you're good. Going to be carrying on with my exodus of 1981, the summer of 1981. This next track is from Spandau Ballet and entitled the Chant no. 1 and brackets I Don't Need His Pressure On. And this was released on the 18th of July and it peaked at number 3 in the UK Top 40. So I'm hoping that I'm going to try the video reaction first, or review first. If it doesn't work, I will kind of see if I can try the studio performance. There's a lot of YouTube reactors at the moment who are finding that 75% of what they react to is now getting blocked. So I hope that's not the case in this case, because yeah, your kind of first reaction is usually your best reaction. So without further ado, this is Spandau Ballet Chant no. 1 from the album Diamond. Yep, it was from the album Diamond, which was actually released in 1982. So I'm going to get straight into this. It looks really, really hot. I don't mean, obviously it's attractive, but hot in a sweaty, hot way. Tony Hadley's got a very kind of haunting way of singing sometimes. It can be kind of very romantic the way he sings, but in this case it feels very, very haunted, very again, this is another one of those songs which was released in July 1981, and I think it was quite a warm summer anyway, so you kind of feel that it's happening right there and then. First time I've actually seen this video. I may have seen it once many years ago, so again, you know, I'm kind of hoping that the video's cool with YouTube, reacting to it, and I hope it stays, because this is like a real genuine reaction for me to this video. I've heard the song and the band was heavily featured on Top of the Pops with this track, I believe, and that's my memory of it. So you know, it's really cool video. So that was Spandau Ballet with Chant no1. Don't need this pressure on. It's just such an amazing video. It's like it's more than just a pop video to me. That was like going back in history. We're talking 39 years ago. And clearly he's driving down a real street. There's real people. I don't think they're actors. A lot of videos now kind of, I think maybe it's quite strict on whether you've got an equity card as to whether you can appear in a video. But then you kind of felt that most of the people in videos were just happened to be in that place at that time, unless it was a studio video. So yeah, I feel this is like a genuine trip down memory lane historically. Interesting song. I mean, clearly he's on his way to a club. But I kind of thought this was maybe the Blitz Club. I do know that Spandau Ballet hung out at the Blitz Club. But I kind of like just gonna have a quick Google of this and just to kind of make sure, or have a quick look on the internet just to make sure that this is what I think it's about. So yeah, the club he's actually in is, and I've never heard of this club before. There must have been more than one type of club for the New Romantic people who are interested in New Romantic movement to actually go to. So this club was Le Beetroot, which is obviously the beetroot. Le Beetroot. It's quite a clever play on words there. And it was a New Romantic club, and I think it was a more chilled out club than a Blitz club. And from what I've read, the owners of a Blitz club and various other people used to drift around the clubs when they weren't working, and they used to pop into this club too. So it's all kind of one big village, I'm guessing. And the suggestion that this club was a little bit seedier than the other clubs, a little less pure with intent. But the lyrics of this song are quite interesting as well. And I was a little bit confused at first, especially with the video. And I've heard this song a number of times through my Walkman, but so when I watched this video, it does look like it's all about, getting dressed, getting ready, travelling for a night out, at this club, and I guess it's the idea that getting ready to go to one of these clubs isn't like popping down your local pub. I think there's a lot of pressure involved in looking good, especially if you're like I guess with Spandau Ballet, they had an image to promote, and so every time they probably popped into these establishments, they were dressed up to the nines, and there to kind of advertise their music and their image to the public and a wider public eventually as well. So I was just looking at the lyrics, but the lyrics are interesting because they don't necessarily kind of match up with the video. So it begins with, I think there's a line in my arms, there's a motion in my arm. Oh, I should question, not ignore. I should believe and not ignore. So that kind of confused me a bit because it seemed like somebody that was either under a kind of some medication, maybe they weren't themselves, or they were kind of losing control of their actions. And what I did was I kind of just I found out that this club Le Beetroot was in a street called Greek Street. So I kind of decided to Google that, and what was interesting was that it then kind of gave another perspective to the song, and it's almost like maybe he's parked his car, he is heading towards a club, but he's also walking past history as well. And part of the history of Greek Street is quite macabre. So it appears that there was actually an horrendous murder in Greek Street back in 1886. And it was, without going into kind of too much detail, there was a gentleman, he was quite a bit older than the woman that he married, and he was very respectable. He had his own home, he owned his own home, he had his own business, but 2 weeks after they were married, he inexplicably murdered her in the most brutal kind of way. And that kind of just brings me into these lyrics. There's a line in my arms, there's a motion in my arm. Oh, I should question, not ignore. I should believe, not ignore. And he does suggest, the first part of this song, that he's perhaps walking past maybe where this crime was committed, where this person lived. And it's just kind of thought going through his head as he's walking to the club, maybe that, he's walking past the spot of a very brutal and horrible murder. And what the person who committed him, I'm not sure what happened to this person. I'm guessing because of the time it was, maybe he took his own life, and maybe he was hung for it. But yeah, so this song is, to me, it's saying that he's walking down the street, down Greek Street, past these different places, on his way to Le Beetroot, and these are his kind of like how he kind of feels about it. So also interestingly, and it kind of gives it away that he's on his way to a club in Greek Street. Even without seeing the video, it says, you go down, past the talk of a town, you go down Greek Street, then it's underground. Well, it's Soho life, for this mobile knife, it's the place to shoot. It's the place to shoot. Now, back in the day, it used to be the expression where you say, I'm just going to shoot off to this pub, I'm going to shoot off to this club. And I'm guessing that it's the place to shoot may have a double meaning to it. So there could have been like a lot of drugs going on there. From what I've read about Le Beetroot, it was a little bit darker than other clubs, so perhaps there is an element of doing drugs there. But it's also, you could just meant that he's just shooting down to the club. So the video to this, I really enjoyed it. And there's one thing, and I'm going to ask the question now. I believe that there is a band playing with Spandau Ballet in this video, and I think they maybe on some of the Top of the Pops performances, and they were a legit band of their own, and I'm sure they had some. They released a couple of tracks themselves. I can't think of the name of a band, but it adds the whole kind of brass section, the trumpets, and it kind of really heightens the emphasis on it just kind of raises the level of this song, I think, rather than have maybe synths playing instead of them. It does lend a complete kind of different aspect to the song. It's like trumpets always kind of feel like exaltation. It's we're off to this club, and it's feels very triumphant. So maybe there was a triumph in actually entering these clubs at the time. I know for a fact that the Blitz Club, you had to pass the door policy in order to get in. And it wasn't just a case of maybe wearing the shoes instead of training shoes. You had to have a very distinct special look in order to get in. And it didn't guarantee that you got in the next time. So maybe this club was a little bit similar to that. Again, the triumph of the trumpets and the brass on the song for the person entering the club. It's like actually getting into that club was a triumph in itself. This was a great video. Like I said halfway through, it feels like a walk down history. I love locational videos of the 1980s. I kind of quickly think of the Ultravox video, which I think was filmed in Covent Garden to begin with. And for sure, Soho, I believe, is not too far away from Covent Garden. It was very interesting. I mean, I spent a little bit of time of walking through Soho when I used to work in areas in and around London. So back in the 80s, it's still a very interesting place. I have no idea what Soho's like now, but I'm pretty sure it's probably not going to be like this anyway. So, guys, I really enjoyed that video. Again, I have heard this song, but to visit a video that you're not so familiar with, it does kind of give a whole different dimension to it, and I thought it was great. I love Spandau Ballet anyway. Join me in the comments below. Let me know what you think of that video. Let me know what you feel about the song. Let me know what you feel about Spandau Ballet in general. Until next time, take care of yourself, and I will see you soon.